What I will say, and I love that, Mimi, because you do have to do what's going to work for you, but you have to define that based on realistic things.
It's Coffee Social, the podcast all about social media and business. And now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Howard and Mimi Langley.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jonathan Howard.
Hello, Mimi Langley.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I need a sip. Hold on. At least they know that there's something happening because we can hear your gulp. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is people gulping loudly.
I know.
Did I tell you that?
You've told me that. You told me that on Clubhouse. That's why I do it all the time.
I know. Thank you. It's just, there's just something
You're
that like,
welcome.
and I sit there and I'm like, and I'm waiting for you to swallow. Like I'm waiting for you to gulp. I do it to myself. This is going to be a big episode. I mean, not really big, but
huge.
It's just nice to kind of learn other people's processes of doing things, especially when it comes to being on top of their content game. It's like, how are you, like we're in the same boat. How are you posting as much as you do? And it feels like you go with the flow. Like I'm looking at you, Jonathan, because you're always on top of it. And I'm just like, does this guy ever just stop for a second? We'll get into that. Like,
but yeah,
I think it comes down to your content planner. It comes down to having a system.
Yep.
And so we'll talk about that, you guys, if you struggle with that, give you some insight. But I wanted to ask you something. We're both from New York. You currently live in New York. I'll always be a New Yorker. What is something that is your favorite thing about New York?
Pizza.
Oh, it's way better than Chicago. Even though I never had an authentic Chicago pizza.
No,
though.
Chicago pizza sucks.
Really? I just can't get the tomato sauce on top. Is that what Chicago is?
It doesn't make sense. It's wrong. It just doesn't make sense. And the crust has to have the right like thickness, the right temperature, the right doughiness, and none of that happens in Chicago pizza.
It's very thick.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Shout out to the Chicago listeners. They're going to come after
Chicago,
us.
but not your pizza.
So you love New York pizza.
New York pizza.
And there's like a pizza
bagels.
shop on every corner. Oh,
yeah,
and the bagels.
I can't eat bagels anymore, but New York bagels are by far like the best. There's something in the water. Oh my God.
That's what it is. There's something in the water, you guys.
Yep.
That's what makes the bagels special. For me, and
black
I think
and white
it's because,
cookie. Oh, sorry. I can keep going.
the black and white cookie. From that Italian bakery you took me to. That
God,
was, I want to like have them deliver to my house, ship to my house. Maybe they will.
They might.
Anywho, you guys. But New York, it's something just to note. New York is not just city. So like New York has a beautiful upstate area with lots of trees, lots of hiking. And one thing I love about New York is, especially during fall, like the fall activities, like apple picking and apple cider donuts. And yeah, so that's kind of me. I love New York.
Yeah.
The whole
New
state.
York is, from the city all the way up. Well, okay, maybe not by the Great Lakes because it's cold over there and snowy.
Buffalo. I've never even been to Buffalo yet. I'm going to Buffalo this year.
Who's going to shuffle to Buffalo?
I can't wait to see Buffalo because we always used to make fun of Buffalo because they would just, it's like a snow town. Like that's all.
There's not much to see. You see snow.
There has to be more.
Yeah, just snow. All right, let's jump into this one. We're going to stay focused today.
Jonathan, who are you? Let's do some quick intros.
My name is Jonathan Howard. I'm the owner of Success on Social, and I help successful coaches reach their ideal clients on social media by developing their signature style. And we're going to go over to Mimi now. Do you have your intro yet?
No, but I will tell you guys that I love teaching about audio marketing. So if you want to get into audio only content and if you want to utilize like social audio, I'm here for you to help you grow your business that way without the need for video.
Does audio marketing include podcasts, Mimi?
Possibly. Do you like my answer? You've been pushing me into that, but I love the push. I need a little bit of a push in 2025, you guys. Lots happening. Okay.
Kick in the ass. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We're going to get banned again. We're going to get explicit on our rating.
Explicit.
Yeah, no more PG.
I'll beep it out.
You should beep. I love the beep when that happens. Okay. So we're talking about content planner, creating a content planner. First and foremost, before we even dive in, I think you have to do what works for you. But maybe what's worked for you in the past didn't work. What
I will say, and I love that, Mimi, because you do have to do what's going to work for you, but you have to define that based on realistic things. You can't just say, I'm going to post 5 days a week and do it, because in many cases, you don't have the time. What I tell people is to look at how many posts they can create in an hour and a half. How many posts for your week can you create in an hour and a half? If you can create 3 posts in an hour and a half, that's your starting point. If you can create 2 posts in an hour and a half, that's your starting point. That's where you start defining your consistency that you're going to show up with. That way, you never have to spend more than an hour and a half creating your content. Now, you may need some of my tips and tricks and strategies to get to that point, but I'm able to get people to create their content in an hour and a half a week very easily.
Wild to me.
I
But
do all my
you're right,
content
though, like,
in an hour and a half.
well, once you get the method down, like your system down, I used to have a problem with content. Now I don't have a problem with content.
Right.
You know, I love that whole hour and a half method. I'm actually curious how much I can do in an hour and a half if I really focus on content.
Right. And you have to focus on the content.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Let's back up for a second.
Okay.
Because we have to have a place to, you started with or you ended with brainstorming, which I think is first and foremost, you want to brain dump all these ideas that you have so that you have a bank. What does your content planner look like? Are you a digital content planner? Do you use Notion or ClickUp, or are you more pen to paper, like a planner?
So what I always do and what I tell people is you need to have a notebook that you have with you at all times. When you're with your business, when you're, anybody's going to ask you anything about your business, have that notebook and pen to paper, write down anything that anybody's ever asked you about your business. Because those
you have
are the
said
questions,
that many times.
Yes.
Many times, yes.
Those are the questions that you need to start answering in your content because people already have those questions. The things you might want to share in your content don't matter if you're not answering people's questions. So answer the questions so that you can start building an audience as a resource for those people who ask questions. So that's the first step of my content.
Okay, start by getting a notebook, any old notebook.
Yep.
You don't need necessarily a calendar just yet.
Nope.
So, okay, when I'm done with my notebook and I'm done kind of writing out what I want, maybe the video, do you think about what the video is going to entail? You already know what kind of content, what question you're answering.
Yeah.
But then do you have a page where you dedicate how the video is going to play out?
I'm going to give you my content plan, how I do this. That way it'll actually all seem to make sense for you. So what I do is at the beginning of the year, I take my yearly planner, which is something I just print out, calendars for that year. And I write down all the important events, the important holidays, those big things that I don't want to forget on my content.
Okay, so you're buying because I've done this before where you're buying monthly templates, a monthly calendar template.
I mean, I have it. If people want, I can probably include my templates on the here.
Okay.
So, but I have a yearly planner and I take an hour at the beginning of the year before January 1st and I take all the important events, the important sales, holidays, and write that down on my yearly calendar. And that's my yearly plan. That's what I go with. So I don't miss any holidays. I don't miss anything that's going to kind of interrupt my flow. It's all right in one place. Then I have a monthly plan. So at the beginning of every month, I take out my yearly, whatever is January, and I take out my monthly plan for January. And I look at it and I go, okay, I've got to make sure I have a post for this, a post for this, and a post for this. And then I will, in my January calendar, then write out the themes or ideas that I have for posts. I don't create the post yet. So at an hour at the beginning of the month, I plan my month based on the themes, the ideas, the holidays, what I want to post, if I'm selling something, whatever it is. No creating the post at that point.
Okay.
And then weekly, I go at the beginning of the week on Sundays and I pull my monthly calendar and I go, okay, these are the things. Okay. Then I need this type of content, this type of content, this type of content. And I have the 9 essential posts that I use as my guiding light. You can use whatever content strategy you want, but you just take those and you write them out based on whatever you want to be posting and you create the posts at that point and you get them ready to post on social.
My goodness, you guys. That was
so easy.
And you explained it really well. I can envision, and you gave us the time slot. You guys, that's not a bad idea at all. Really. And are you focusing, okay, I know you said the content, you're answering questions, but do you also start with like, what's my goal this year? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is that where like your starting point? Like my
Yeah.
ultimate goal for 2025 is this. This is what I have to do. This is where I have to show up. Like you have that.
Here's what I want to sell. Here's what I want to do. And, you know, obviously you could do, I'll give you another trick in a second. But yeah, I do my goals based on where I want to be doing, what I want to be talking about, and making sure that it aligns with, like, if I've got a sale or I had a launch last year and I'm going up against that same launch, I want to make sure that I'm leading myself towards having a better launch this year. So I'm making sure I'm creating content that's going to help me have a better launch, help me speak to my people. Now, we've got to be flexible because shit changes all the time on social media. You know, that's why I tell you your yearly plan is just the basics. What holidays, what things are you doing that are important? Your monthly is a little bit more detailed, but it's not to the detail of your week, because by the end of the month, it could change. What's happening on social could change.
Okay, can I ask you?
Yep.
Like, for example, if you've been doing business for a while, maybe every single year you open up your group coaching program, March, August, November. That would go on your yearly plan, because that's always something that happens.
Plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it doesn't matter what social media is doing. You're still going to be opening up that March, August, November. So that goes on your yearly plan. And then your monthly plan would then reflect some of the posts that you're going to be doing to open your cart or close your cart or whatever it is.
So all of this, you're storing all of this on paper.
I do it on paper.
Okay.
I do it on paper.
Yeah.
But you can do it however the hell you want. I mean, the templates that I use are able to be filled in on, you know, whatever you use. Yeah.
So if you guys want to pull out a Google Drive and have your yearly, monthly, you know, weekly spread on there, like whatever is going to make it work for you. I know so many people that will not touch paper. Like they're all about the digital life.
Right.
So, okay. For me, I like having a planner. I'm with you. I like pen to paper.
Yeah. Now here's something that you can do, because people are going to ask me, what about all the platforms I'm supposed to be posting on? 1, you don't need to be omnipresent. 2, you should have about a 10-day stagger in the content that you're posting from one platform to the next. I say this because it's going to allow you to hit the repetitions that you need, especially if you're launching. And I also say this because people aren't going to go to all your platforms if you're posting the same thing every day on every platform.
Right.
So how do you do that? You just create your content for the month. And let's say week 1 for Instagram is week 2 for Facebook. You just create week 1 for Instagram. It moves to week 2 for Facebook. So then week 2 is week 3, et cetera, and so on. What you actually do is you create week 4 for your Instagram, and that becomes week 2 or whatever you want to do. It just flips up.
And Jonathan, by the way, you're not the only one who does this.
Yeah.
I see so many people, like I can throw Mel Robbins, pay attention to Mel Robbins, maybe even Gary Vee, but like a lot of these people, like, you know, I follow her on Instagram and I follow her on LinkedIn, and sometimes I'll see things that she posted on Instagram a week ago. I'll see it appear just now on LinkedIn. Right. So a lot of them do the staggering posts. Yeah.
And just in case you didn't notice, a lot of that content is repeated in about a 3-month cycle.
Yeah.
You don't have to create new content all the time. It's a great way to plan.
You could have you know, when I'm looking at my monthly or my weekly, I could say, hey, you know, this week is a little bit busy. Maybe I can pull a really popular post that I can repost. Mm-hmm. You know, so you can repurpose. Yeah, have those times.
And you can take your 3-month, you do a 3-month rotation. When I was teaching Reels, I was at the point where I was on a 3-month rotation. I would pull the content. I might change out a couple posts, but the main topics and in many cases, the videos and the captions were the same of things that I posted 3 months ago. And it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're just talking content, right? Like this is not... You look at your goal and you break down your goal into small goals. Like that's a whole nother
that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole nother planner. This is specifically for you to just be consistent with posting. Mm-hmm. And using the word consistent, you define what that is. So you have to check in with yourself. Like let's say you want to post 2 times a week on LinkedIn, which I think is totally doable. What do you recommend? Would you recommend, and I feel like this has worked in the past for myself and a lot of other people, pick a day of the week. Tuesdays is my LinkedIn day. Thursdays is my YouTube day. Like, do you ever do that?
I don't do that, but I also post 5 days a week on any of the platforms I'm on.
I know. You're really good about that.
So,
are you pre-scheduling a lot?
No, but
Okay.
I know what it's going to be because I already plan it. That's what I do on Sundays. I plan my week on Sundays. I know what
Right.
content's going out, and I'm pulling a lot of my top performing posts from Instagram to go to LinkedIn. I also have newsletters. Like for Monday, for me, my newsletter goes out. I've got newsletters scheduled right now. We'll be honest with you for a second. It's the middle of December.
Right.
I have the rest of December and January's newsletters in LinkedIn ready to go, as well as in my email.
Yeah. So I guess that also like take us, for me, I'm almost like, how long is this going to take me to do? Like, okay, we're starting with the yearly, so that shouldn't take me too long.
1 hour. Yep. Your monthly, 1 hour at the beginning of the month. And your
Right.
weekly.
And so like, let's say it's January 3rd.
Yep.
I can
And
be
it's
like, okay.
Okay. I'm going to spend an extra hour doing my monthly planner.
Okay.
And then maybe on January 4th, you do your week. Or January 2nd,
Okay.
you do the month and whatever you want to do. And
Okay.
then you're good because you're then going to take that 90 minutes that you're creating your content and doing your plan and creating your content for that 90 minutes for the rest of that month. So it's just 1 extra hour at the beginning of the month to do your outline of what you're going to be posting. But that lines you up to actually be able to get that content created when you already know what you're going to be posting. You're
Right.
not going, what should I post? I need to go scroll. I need to do this. You end up in a doom scroll and you end up feeling like you don't have any good content to put out there. When you do, get away from the doom scrolling and start planning your content, and that will allow you to actually feel better about what you're putting out there.
Okay, so what about this? Because everybody, and again, you guys, you have to test these things out for yourself. It has to work with your personality, right? What if I was like, okay, because this is being, we're in January right now. So what if maybe you're listening to this during the summer, but we're in January right now, uploading this episode. What if I was like, okay, for January, I'm just going to focus on planning out Q1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my monthly and my weekly of Q1. That way I don't have to worry about every Sunday planning out the week. Like I'm already ahead of it.
If that works for you, absolutely.
Okay.
The only reason I don't teach it that way is because social media changes. And I would tell somebody to do that and they'd do it. And then in February, they'd call me and be like, hey, I have all this content planned for Instagram and Instagram doesn't allow me to post this content anymore. Which I will honestly say is an easy fix. You just repurpose that content into something different very easily. Yes, it's going to be a little bit of work, but I don't teach it that way because social media platforms change so quickly.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. There's a lot of ways we can go about this, you guys. But it's so funny because Jonathan has always talked about like how he plans the whole year in advance. And I'm like, how the heck does anyone do that? But I like how you broke it down. It makes a lot of sense. It really does.
I try to make sense. When I teach it, I try to make sense. So many people, and it's hard because content overwhelms people, period.
Well, yeah. And it's also like, if it's not top of mind for you, you almost like, I'll do it tomorrow. Or I'll post next week.
Next day. And then you go back and you look at your Instagram and you go, how the hell haven't I posted in 5 weeks?
Yeah.
7 weeks, 3 months.
Because and honestly, you guys, it really, like for me, I am an organized person, but at the same time, I'm a procrastinator. And so like I have my goals and stuff, but there are times when I like almost wing it. Like, oh, today I'm feeling YouTube. Tomorrow I'm feeling LinkedIn. You know what I mean? It's like I almost have that wing it spirit as well.
Yeah. And by procrastinator, you mean recovering perfectionist?
Well, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, because for me, I like to go by my energy levels, like there's so many things. And again, those could be excuses to some people. I like how you break it down.
Well,
I'm giving you a compliment.
Hopefully it will work for people.
All right, good. I feel so good about this episode. I don't know if you guys are getting that kind of vibe, but like I'm almost like it's inspiring me to like go to Target,
actually do it,
get my notebook.
Go to Target. God, it's inspiring you to go shopping. Great. That's not what my goal was, but okay.
Target, get my notebook, right, girls? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Jonathan, anything else you want to add before we?
No, just don't make content overwhelming. Try your best to get it so that you can do what you need to do. Content isn't your job. Your business is your business. Content is something that you do to promote your business. It's not the entire thing. So
Amen.
try to get it so it's not overwhelming. Use whatever strategies, whatever hacks. I hate calling them hacks because they should be strategies. Hacks don't work long term, but do what you need to do so that you can actually get your content done. And spending an hour and a half is doable, I think, for a lot of people.
And also when you're planning the year ahead, I love the idea of like if you know every August it's a rough month for you, or you always go on like a 3-week vacation, like that's on there, right? Like you can plan accordingly.
Yep.
And
You can
there's no
create
stress.
the content and have it, even if you say, okay, I wrote some blogs that I'm going to start promoting in August, then you can have those blogs written prior and create the content from them when you write the blog. And then it's ready to go in August when you have it scheduled.
Yeah.
All right.
It makes it sound so easy. Okay, Jonathan, tell people about Coffee Social.
They should make sure that they give us a 5-star rating wherever they listen to their podcast.
Especially after
5
this
stars.
episode.
Mimi cries if she
stars.
doesn't get 5 stars.
10
10.
stars.
We also are available wherever you want to find us, like on Instagram and YouTube and OnlyFans, and wherever you want to find us, we're there. So you can find us and ask questions or see what's going on with the podcast.
You're so
Mimi.
funny. Okay, I do have the most important question of them all, and that is, are you team, we already know our answers, but we want to hear from you guys, so leave it in the YouTube comments or put them in on Instagram for us. Are you team digital planner or are you team a paper planner?
Paper. I love my paper. Yeah.
And you have a really big one too. You didn't even talk about that.
I know, I didn't.
Like a gigantic, like I'm talking the size of like your wall in your living room.
It's not that big, but it's about my size. Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening and watching. We will see you in the next episode. Don't forget to check out the Coffee Social Library so you can listen to more. We have a ton of episodes for you.
Absolutely. If you just found us, you found us on a good episode, but there's a ton of other great episodes in the library.
All right. Well, bye everyone. Bye, Jonathan Howard.
Bye, Mimi Langley.